Okay, so here's a little garden update. It's June, I think 24th. It's been a while since I've posted one. I do make them, but I actually made one yesterday, but I was a little bummed out, which I'll show you in a minute. But I'm out here this morning. I'm pruning some squash leaves. I've got a lot of work today, but I try and get out here a little bit every day. And I just wanted to show you how quickly things grow. You know, it seems like forever when you're waiting, but truth be told, it really comes pretty fast, especially if you remember some of those early videos where it's like, just here's the ground and I put something there. So this is the what I call the full sunbed. It's early, so it's not sunny yet, but here's my scarlet runner beans, and you can see, maybe you can see, they have little tendrils. They're not quite long enough to make it to the trellis, but I keep kind of trying to encourage them to, and the wind keeps blowing them off. These are bush pea. These are black-eyed peas. Here's my melons. They're starting to come up, which is very exciting for me. And this week I've really been pruning my squash. I think I said in earlier videos, I planted way too closely. I pulled a lot of plants out. I gave some squash starts away, which was really kind of cool and people were excited about. And I don't know, it just felt good. So I don't feel so bad for overplanting. There's still a little bit crowded, but there's a great video from Michigan Gardener, if any of y'all watch, where he talks about not being afraid to really thin them and prune them, because this is, we're growing squash, not leaves. So, and they're pretty hardy. I remembered I had watched it last year and was reminded of it, so I really kind of did that. And Tracy, my friend Tracy, sent me a video of this man who actually stakes his squash up. And so I decided to try that because, you know, some of the plants have some little buds on them, you know, who are coming to blossom. I said, well, let me try it, you know, and if I lose them, then, you know, it's a natural thinning. So that's kind of what I've done. I did a real loose version yesterday. I anticipate I'll be doing more and better. So that's kind of cool. And let's see if I can see it. There's a little teeny tiny squash right now. It's about an inch long. Oop, there's another one. So, and one of the reasons you prune is because they, you want the pollinators to be able to get to them. Here's one that's a female blossom that clearly looks to me like it hasn't been pollinated, so that will probably fall off. But squash plants have female and male blossoms. How about that? So here's my butternut squash. I just did a little trimming on it and trying to train it to the trellis a little bit. Let me back out. Oh, that is backed out. So that's what's happening there. These are my spaghetti squash. I actually just pulled a couple of those out so they have more space, and because nobody needs that much spaghetti squash. These are my Kajari melons that are coming up. I'm thinking I may thin that one that's close to the cucumber because I keep moving the cucumber back over and it's a little bit of a battle. I left a beet or two down there, thinking that it may be okay because it's going to get so much shade from the squash and cucumber. So, and if not, they'll be lovely greens and the seeds were already planted. Here's my cucumbers really starting to move up. They should start getting blossoms here soon. I think I saw a couple. I need to look it up because I think you can trim these too. And here is, I don't know if I ever showed that video, but because they were just a little too short and I needed to train them, I put a couple of bamboo stakes in to give them a little ramp to get on the trellis. So they're doing pretty well there. Here's these beans. Okay. Here's the partial shade bed. These are like cantaloupes, different types of cantaloupes. They're doing great. This one just got its little tendril around that. And you ready for the beans? Here we go. I don't have any beans yet. Check this one out. I think he's made it to the top. So once they really start to produce pods and beans and whatever, they will, the beans will kind of come down and they should be easier to pick. Helps them be more pest resistant. This is my big boy tomato, which is a big slicing tomato. And it's been blooming, but I was a little concerned that nothing was happening until last night when I discovered, wait, I don't even know if you can see it. There's 2 tomatoes on there right now. I think there's a third, but I can't see it right now. So that's a little exciting. Anybody who knows me knows that this is really funny because I don't eat raw tomatoes. But that's all right. These are sweet meat squash. Same thing, I think, because I don't think I need that many of them, I may pull 1 or 2 out. Henderson lima beans. You can see something's been eating on the leaves. So we will address that here shortly. My spray bottle from Tractor Supply is coming. My dill has just been lovely this year. It volunteered, which means that I didn't plant a seed. It just grew from a seed that must have still been in the bed. And I've never had it go to head so early. And so I've been using them to make little quick pickles and stuff like that. It's just delightful. Rosemary. My Chaillet eggplant is coming up. Apparently these get big and bushy, so at least a couple of those probably have to go. My Badajan, not so good. It hasn't come up, so I'll probably replant that. These are tiny pink potted beans. They were looking real sketchy the other day because of all the rain, but they're looking better. Butterwax beans. These are all bush beans. That's why they're in these. Blue Lake. Somebody ate the top off of that one. And purple whole peas. And I was just about ready to replant this. This is celery. But look what's here today. Little teeny tiny baby celeries. So that's kind of cool. My okra plants. Ta-da! These are some of the squash leaves I haven't picked up yet. Because Mama's got stuff to do, but she's playing in the garden. Potatoes. My dad gave me this great idea about making these things higher. We'll see if I can pull it together enough to do it. These are, by the way, blooming. They have very pretty flowers on them, and they actually make fruit. But just so you know, don't eat the fruit because it's poisonous. Yep, true story. This is where my garlic had been, but somebody that got one of the starts, because their other starts had not done well, offered some mint because she's got it running over her yard. And so I took it and just put it in there yesterday. So we'll see how it does. Not looking great right now. Tomatoes, these are the Romas. I think I'm gonna get what they call fruit exclusion bags here shortly to cover up the fruit because stuff likes to come in much. These are my carrots. They're just kind of an experiment at this point. So we're gonna let them do what they do. Onions, I don't feel like they're bulbing. I pulled a couple for green onions the other day. We'll see. You know, a lot of gardening is just dealing with stuff that shows up and learning enough to do it better the next year. This is my red bell pepper, and it's struggled in a way that the other one has not. Has another bloom there. If you can see down here, that's one that fell off. It looks like it has what's called blossom end rot, which means that you get the little blossom and then the fruit starts to grow, and then the plant dies. So we'll see what happens there. This pepper plant is doing great. I have to look up to when these are done. He's making some nice little chilies there. The sweet potatoes have been doing really well. And these get lots and lots of vines, so you can see I'm gonna have to have something to train it. But something also came and ate the ends off of it. So I'm entering the pest management portion of the summer. This is my broccoli. So if you've watched these, you know I planted a bunch of broccoli. I was excited. Some of them actually formed little brocks this year. But because it's a cool weather crop, see, like you can see a little down in there. You might not be able to on this video. But because it's a cool weather crop, when it hits the heat, it does what's called bolting, which is it just kind of goes to flower and seed really quickly, because that is the purpose of a plant, is to propagate itself. So, yeah, So I'm gonna let these go a little bit longer and then I'm gonna pull them up. I feel like I got enough information about which grows better for me. So I will, plant them closer to the fall again, and, a little bit more sensibly than I planted the first time. These are my collards. They're starting to get a little pest damage. So I'm getting ready to cover this bed, I think. This is kale. I just thinned some out today. This, let's see if you can see those two things. They look like they have like sort of heart-shaped leaves on them. The rest are weeds. Those are actually dragon tail radishes. You don't eat the roots like you do on a regular radish. It makes these little bean pods. It's supposed to be delightful, so I'm excited about that. And this, until a day ago, was my Swiss chard. And unfortunately, something came and ate it just yesterday, just chomped it down. So I was a little discouraged by that. But it happens. So again, it'll get planted closer to the winter because it's not a good heat tolerant crop. This is my romaine bed. I've been thinning it out a little bit as I go. My mixed greens bed, same thing. I have pulled a lovely little salad for later, which is very exciting to me. And I think I've covered everything down there. Here is, I planted 2 different kinds of sweet corn. This is a stole. It's coming up, lovely. You can see it's kind of in a shaded area because it's all growing to the left. And I planted 2 tomatoes from seed and they're coming up. Actually, I think I planted more and it looks like more coming up, so they'll probably get thin too. That's a big honking weed. This is my watermelon. I had another 1 or 2. There's one right there. There's one right there. But when I was trying to clear some of this debris from this tree out, I jacked them up a little bit. So again, it's kind of an experiment. It should get enough sun to do a little something. And this is my other corn. And my other tomatoes are coming up. So it's pretty exciting. So that's the backyard garden tour. I hope you enjoyed it. Oh, my leeks are way over there. They're doing okay. A little bit of an experiment. All right, bye.